Welcome back, traveller, to another dive into the darkest corners of the 41st millennium. Today we explore what would happen if Homelander, the twisted symbol of power and vanity, led a Chaos Warband in the grim darkness of Warhammer 40K. Imagine the galaxy seeing a new god rise, not from devotion or justice, but from pure narcissism, a man who craves love as much as he craves control. A hero, reborn through chaos, whose blood corrupts gene seed and whose smile becomes a religion. But when even the gods turn away, what happens to a man who only lives for the camera? This is the story of Homelander, the false light that tried to outshine the Emperor. And if you genuinely enjoy this kind of dark storytelling, consider subscribing and liking the channel, but only if it truly resonates with you. I arrived above a dying world, its cities burning like veins of fire beneath the clouds. The ship's hull trembled with every scream from the surface. I stood at the viewport, watching billions pray for a savior. They didn't know I was coming. They didn't know I'd already decided who they were going to worship. The priests around me knelt, faces hidden behind flayed masks, painting my sigil on their tongues. They called me the Lord of Light. I smiled, my perfect smile, the one that calms and terrifies at the same time. They wept when I told them to rise. They always do. That was when the warp touched me. It was a whisper inside my skull, like fingers brushing thought. It asked what I wanted. I didn't lie. I wanted every eye, every heartbeat, every soul watching me, believing in me. The whisper purred. It promised me a stage that never ends. When I descended through the clouds, the city below was chaos. Enforcers fired into mobs while priests screamed prayers from rooftops. Banners of the corpse god fluttered from the towers, their edges burning in the smoke. I hovered above them, cape flickering in the sunlight. One soldier fired a bolt round at my chest. It exploded, tearing the air apart, but I didn't move. I smiled wider. The crowd froze. Then I gave them what they wanted. A miracle. My eyes glowed, and the gunner vanished in a beam of light that turned the balcony to glass. The mob screamed and fell to their knees. I opened my arms and told them I loved them. Told them they'd never be forgotten again. And for the first time, the warp applauded. Later, a figure in horned armor approached me. He called himself the Exalted of the 13th Tier, a captain of a fallen legion. He didn't kneel. He saluted, claws tapping his chest plate. He spoke of the Chaos Gods and of the Primarchs, the sons of an emperor who had been worshipped for 10,000 years. He said I burned brighter than any of them, that if I offered my blood, the gods would bless me. He said I could found my own line. I liked that. In my world, compound fee made heroes. Here, it could make saints. The priests and tech adepts drained my blood into chalices, mixed it with corrupted gene seed, and injected it into recruits. Failures, killers, children stolen from the underhives. Most died screaming. The survivors emerged stronger, faster, radiant with my light. They called themselves the sons of the broadcast. They called me father. I told them I loved them. We turned a manufactorum into a temple. Banners bearing my face hung from cranes, and the air filled with incense and static. We wired every hall with hololith cameras. Every atrocity became content. When we executed governors, we broadcast it. When we razed cathedrals, we streamed the flames. People prayed not to the emperor, but to the screens, and word spread. Across the voxnet of the Imperium, fragments of my speeches began to surface. Hacked transmissions, corrupted sermons echoing through hive shrines. Administratum clerks tried to erase them, but each deletion made two more appear. Some claimed the Emperor's tarot had gone silent wherever my image appeared. Astropaths whispered that the Astronomicon flickered when my name was spoken. The Inquisition called it mass psi contagion. I called it brand recognition. In the Schola Progenium, children were forced to watch recordings of my heresies as lessons in what happens to the faithless. Half the students cried. The other half smiled when I did. Within months, Inquisitors had compiled hundreds of reports, entire guard regiments defecting mid-campaign, chanting my name instead of the Imperial Creed. They classified me as Anathema Ex Machina Primus. I liked that title. It sounded expensive. Even among the Chaos Legions, my rise stirred noise. The old warlords of the Eye called me a pretender, a bright toy who didn't understand devotion through pain. They said I was soft, too clean. Yet their cultists kept defecting to me. They preferred my miracles to their endless sermons. The Dark Mechanicum sent envoys to study the cameras I used. They said my hololiths drew more worship than any demon engine. Some whispered that the ruinous powers themselves watched through the lenses. Maybe they did. The sweet wind of Slaanesh coiled around me, soft and perfumed, whispering indulgence. The hot wind of Khorne laughed. Iron and smoke, urging me to strike faster. Both fed on me, and I fed on them. My image became worship. My worship became power. The Inquisition came next. Their ship was black as morning, their agent a woman with white hair and eyes like stone. She walked through the ruins and called me abomination. She fired a weapon that erased matter itself. It hurt. I caught the void beam in my hands and bent it. She didn't flinch. She called for an orbital strike on her own position. That almost impressed me. But my sorcerer closed his fist, and her ship fell from orbit like a burning prayer. I let the cameras focus on her face. I told the crowd she wanted to kill them all. They screamed for her death. I gave it to them. She burned to salt while I smiled. That night, the gods gave me a vision. I saw a man in cobalt armor, haloed by discipline. Roboute Guilliman, the avenging sun, a Primarch reborn. I felt something twist inside me, not fear, not awe, something smaller, older, the feeling of being replaced. Rumors reached me through intercepted vox logs. Guilliman's own advisors debated how to classify me. Some said demon prince, some warp-spawned psyker, others whispered I was something new, an echo from the Dark Age, a weapon-wearing skin. Entire inquisitorial conclaves argued whether I served any god at all. The Ordo heresy declared open sanction. Fleet orders burned my name across astropathic channels. But the thing about bureaucracies, they talk more than they act. While they debated definitions, I took 10 worlds. The Exalted saw my expression and knew. He told me the gods had given me a mission to hunt the sons of the Emperor and to make the galaxy watch. We moved through the stars like a virus. My sons conquered hive worlds, hijacked pilgrimages, spread my gospel on every frequency. We built cathedrals of mirrors, so even our prayers were reflections of me. And yet, even the gods argued. Khorne called me a coward for loving spectacle more than slaughter. Slaanesh whispered that I was perfect, that my vanity was devotion itself. Tzeentch sent dreams full of mirrors that lied to each other. Nurgle laughed quietly, saying I would rot from the inside, fame decaying faster than flesh. I told them they sounded like critics. The Adeptus Sororitas gave me my next stage. We descended upon a shrine world of Saint Celestine. Bells rang. The faithful gathered, thinking I was another miracle. I landed in their courtyard, bathed in light, cape fluttering. For a moment, they truly believed I was sent by their emperor. Then Celestine herself appeared, wings blazing gold, sword in hand. She looked at me without fear, without awe, just sadness. We clashed in the air, light against light. Her blade left golden arcs in the smoke. My beams cut through marble towers. Each strike made the crowd's prayers shift. Some for her, some for me. I cut her cheek. She cut mine. Blood hit the air and turned to fire. My priests caught it in chalices. The warp screamed approval. Then she said one word. Stop. It wasn't a command. It was pity. For a heartbeat, the crowd went silent. The gods waited. Even my smile shook. For a heartbeat, I saw myself in her eyes, not as a god, but as a man pretending not to be alone. Then the Exalted burst through the wall, roaring my name. The crowd screamed again. The moment broke. I burned Celestine to ash, and the gods howled in delight. Afterward, Vox transmissions flooded the segmentum. Imperial preachers called me the false angel, the blinding lie. Pilgrims burned their eyes so they would never see me. Others built crude effigies of my face, begging me to descend upon their worlds. Even within the ecclesiarchy, factions formed, those who wanted to erase me, and those who claimed I was the emperor reborn in wrathful form. They killed each other over the argument. I didn't need to lift a finger. That night, the silence returned. No praise, no laughter, just the absence of sound. It whispered, "You're only real when they watch." We grew stronger. We consumed worlds. The Necrons rose against us once. I shattered their tombs and carved my face into their monoliths. Even the dead learned to look. But the silence never left. It followed me from system to system, whispering questions I refused to answer. So I gave it one. I told it I'd show the galaxy something unforgettable. I told it I'd kill a Primarch on camera. We set course for Macraga, home of Guilliman. The journey through the warp took days and centuries. The fleet screamed through colourless seas. My reflection followed me everywhere, smiling, hollow, endless. When we emerged, the Ultramar system waited. Armadas in perfect formation, fortresses glittering like stars. They were ready. Still, I could feel it. Doubt among my own. The Exalted's officers whispered that I was not truly blessed, that the gods tolerated me only because I drew attention to them. Chaos is unity through hatred. They hated me too little, loved me too much. I let them live anyway. Fear keeps better rhythm than loyalty. I ordered every channel open. I wanted them all to hear. People of the Imperium, I said. Your god is a corpse who can't speak. Your Primarch is a bureaucrat wearing armor. You pray to silence, but I see you. I hear you, and I love you. Their response was predictable. Fire, lances of plasma, fleets of blue steel. I met them in orbit, tearing through gunships barehanded. My sons followed, screaming my name. Their bolters painted the void with light. It was beautiful. Then Guilliman arrived. His flagship cut through the storm like a sword through silk. His voice echoed across the channels, measured, patient, eternal. You are an abomination, he said. The Imperium already bleeds. It does not need your vanity, I laughed. You sound like my old producers. He didn't reply. He just came for me. We met above Macraga's clouds. Blue against red, discipline against ego. His blows carried centuries of training. Mine carried centuries of rage. He struck first, sword blazing with the Emperor's light. I blocked with my hands. Flesh burned, but I smiled. We clashed again and again, each impact shattering mountains below. He was calm, focused, every move a statement. I was radiant, furious, every move a demand to be seen. He hit me hard enough to crack my ribs. My blood poured like molten gold. My sons screamed prayers through the warp. The gods answered, wrapping me in their laughter. I hit him back. The strike broke the clouds. The warp itself split, tearing open a mouth of chaos that swallowed fleets. The sweet and hot winds merged, whispering promises of immortality. I drew it all in. Every whisper, every prayer, every ounce of faith. The warp became my bloodstream. My body turned to light. I felt infinite. Guilliman fell through the clouds, armor smoking. For a moment I stood alone. Every eye on me, every camera, every heartbeat. And then, the silence returned. It asked again, who are you when no one's watching? The laughter of the gods faded. My light dimmed. I looked down at my hands and saw nothing but smoke. Guilliman rose from the ruins. His armor shattered, but his gaze steady. You could have been one of us, he said. A protector, a savior, I laughed weakly. I already am. He stepped forward and drove his sword through my chest. The blade burned with faith, not hate. The warp howled. My sons screamed and vanished into the storm. My fleet imploded, devoured by the very gods it served. The Exalted's laughter turned to silence. I fell through fire and cloud, the applause fading into nothing. When I hit the ground, the world cracked. My cape burned away. My smile finally broke. Guilliman stood above me, sword dripping light. You wanted to be seen, he said. Now you are, by the dead. He left me there, didn't even strike again. Just turned and walked away. When the Imperium soldiers came later, they found no body. Just a crater of glass reflecting light where none existed. Some say the gods took me back. Some say I still drift between realities, searching for another audience. But I know the truth. You only exist when someone's watching. And now, there's no one left to see me. Have you ever wondered which of the galaxy's corruptions would claim someone like me first? Tell me in the comments. I know you've thought about it too. And if you had my power in the Imperium, would you choose loyalty, heresy, or silence? I'll be reading.